Rolling around for the warm-up lap for the final race in the Dunlop Series this weekend. Field of 33 ready to go. This is the last race for the Dunlop Series before the Pertec Enduro Cup. There's just 2 rounds to go after this one at Bathurst and Sydney Olympic Park. Here's the grid. Dale Wood, Jack Perkins, front row. Ash Walsh fighting for the title. He's alongside Andrew Jones, who, Murph, is actually sneaking up on 3rd place in the points. He's only a matter of 4 now behind Daniel Gaunt in 3rd, who's had a really tough weekend. Gaunt has swapped teams since the last round. He starts back in position 14. Ant Pedersen returning to the series in 16th. Josh Keane on debut has kept out of trouble and finds himself 17th, which is actually pretty good.
Yeah, he's done a good job, all right, in that HRT, ex-HRT Commodore. Brent Hobson there on 23rd. Next to him is Jim Policina, who was facing the wrong direction in the last race for a moment. And Casey Stoner having a shocker of a weekend, 31st on the grid.
And the V8 Supercar world, Murph, has been talking so much in recent times about Scott McLaughlin and Chaz Mostert. The 2 men on the front row of the grid for this race will be their co-drivers for the next 3 events in the V8 Supercars Championship. It's Wood versus Perkins, former Kelly Racing teammates to square off. Final race of the weekend, away Perkins. We go. Ash Walsh has made a very good jump from the 2nd row of the grid, but there's never much room to go to.
Perkins.
Jones down the outside into turn number 1. Wood, though, will be wide. Look out.
Here we go.
Cam Waters. Emery. Waters through the water. Emery, look out. This is really dangerous. He's managed to get away from the traffic.
Casey Stoner, a fantastic start. Emery, though, has blown.
Oh, one around. There goes a Bob Jane Ford. Hard to know which one. It might have been Rodney Jane.
And I think that might have been Cam
Jacobson. Gary Jacobson, he's off the road. So,
action aplenty at the start of the last race. Jack Perkins leads Dale Wood. Look at the gap they've got over Andrew Jones. The fight to the first corner. Again, it was the outside of the grid that made the better start. These two are going to go at it for the entire race.
Remember that the difference between a first and a second in a race of the Dunlop Series, in particular for this race, is 10 points. The margin coming into this final race was more than 10. So even if they sit as they are for the run home, it's okay for Dale Wood. He will still win the round, but we've still got a long way to go. It's Jones, Walsh, and George Medicki next in P5. Then Luke Youlden, then Drew Russell, Rodney Jane, Nick McBride, and Paul Morris. But the top 2 already clearing away.
Yeah, clearing away. It'd be interesting to know as we see Walsh go very deep behind Andrew Jones as they stream through. Steve Owen, obviously after that DNF yesterday, has had to start near the back of the grid again and fight his way through as we see Stoner. But Jack Perkins still leading. Dale Wood, a very, very close proximity to the back of that Commodore. These two, tyre situation. Be interesting to actually know what these guys had after the second race, what they used for the reverse grid. Obviously only half points as we see a replay of the start. And Perkins just got the drive, the power down to the ground there. Woody, very lucky actually. Look at Andrew Jones on the outside. So Wood was lucky. Here's Waters and Emery coming together on the outside, both taking to the mud. Waters through the waters. Jeff Emery's so lucky not to end up. And we saw...
That was almost an Alex Premer moment, wasn't it?
It was, where which took out Russell Ingall and the championship leader, Jamie Whincup, and then we see Jacobson off there as well. So a hectic start. Replay in car with Gary Jacobson. Oh, he had to get out of it. Paul Morris struggling to get away. And these two are mates after yesterday's performance.
You can see all the drama going on up in front of them.
Dan Gaunt there on the inside, right up behind Nick McBride.
There's Jeff Emery.
Just avoiding Jeff Emery, and there's still cars. Cam Waters still recovering from that one. And here we go, he got, quite a touch from behind. Keane, not quite sure. Look at 4 of them wide.
You can't get 3 in. Anyone who thought they'd get 4 was bonkers.
And I thought at this stage that Emery was going to come through and spare onto the track, into the side of someone. Fortunately, that didn't happen. But 4 wide into 1 does not go. Medicki was on the inside. I think Drew Russell.
Look at George.
Start.
He made a great jump and he carved to the inside.
And then it just 4 didn't go. That you can't really blame Jeff Emery for that one either. He was certainly a piece of meat in the sandwich on that one.
Look at this. This is on. Casey Stoner, Taz Douglas, Steve Owen charging through the pack.
Stoner's come from 31st on the grid to 18th within 2 laps.
Not bad. He's getting lots of practice at passing cars. It's not the way that he wants to be getting practice in V8 Supercars. Perkins leads, Wood second. Fastest man on the road last time around, Andrew Jones in the Wilson Security Commodore. But looking back from Douglas, P16, Casey Stoner in 17th, and it's a real freight train from here on in.
Well, he's in pretty good company here. Taz Douglas knows his way around. Steve Owen ahead of him. We know how good he is in these cars. So there's an opportunity here for Casey to get on the back of these guys and maybe get a few tips.
This is Cameron Waters.
Look at that.
There's that little link road there that Nick Percat launched his Porsche off yesterday. I think Waters has just about outdone him there.
But look at the way the nose comes down and digs in.
What goes up must come down.
That is some seriously good footage. Yeah, Jack Perkins just putting a few tenths of a second on Dale Wood here as Andrew Jones, as you said, showing incredibly good pace. He's not letting these guys go as Walsh files in behind. Madecki, Yulden, Russell, McBride and Rodney Jane.
It's a real freight train, and there's just so many cars in this category this year with the change to the new generation car in the V8 Supercars Championship. So much good hardware became available and within the cost realms for some of the smaller privateer type teams. And that's expanded the Dunlop series to the points where we've had the biggest group. I don't think we've been under 30 cars this year, and if we have, it hasn't been by much. Steve Owen here trying to get by Chris Pither. He's rattling away on the bumper, and Steve Owen, that car was Chaz Mostert's car at the start of the year. Remember that he won the first round on the streets of Adelaide before the whole Dick Johnson Racing / FPR deal came up for him to run in the main series. And Steve Owen will co-drive with Will Davison at the Pertec Enduro Cup, so he's in a very strong position there. Looking at Paul Morris, he'll be with Scott Pye. Daniel Gaunt will team with Michael Caruso for the Norton Nissan team, and had a couple of very wet laps on Friday afternoon where, for pretty much all the co-drivers, that was about all you got. It wasn't really worth a great deal to you when you have that situation because, you know, you were there.
It's all about getting comfortable in those situations, just getting out, learning the car, learning the systems. Jim Policina off at turn 10, I think, recovering. It's another spin for him. He had a moment there with Morgan Haber in the reverse grid race as well. Here we go, a bit of a replay. Oh, he's gone all by himself. Went a bit wide, under brakes, into turn 10. Luckily missed by all those cars still to go past.
That is Steve Owen's Dunlop Series winning car, actually, from a couple of years. One of the ex-Tasman motorsport cars. This is a freight train here. Steve Owen in behind the 18-year-old Josh Hunter, in turn behind Gaunt and Cam Waters with that modified Lynn Commodore, I think you could say.
Yeah, he's probably got a bit of dirt stuck in the radiator there, which probably wouldn't be helping the cooling of his car. Steve Owen had just got past Chris Pither, who was looking to return the favour pretty quickly. Ooh. But this is a freight train. There's Dan Gaunt in the Evans Motorsport Falcon. A change from, obviously, Eagleston Motorsport, as we've spoken about.
And the Premium Showers Commodore from the Eagleston team has control, but Dale Wood might not win the battle, but he might just win the war. The championship leader sits second on the road and is staring down his maiden round win in the Dunlop Series. On the run home in the final Dunlop Series race of the weekend at Winton Motor Raceway. Looking here at Casey Stoner, the Red Bull Commodore, sitting position 17. He started way back, position 30 on the grid, and he's keeping pace with Taz Douglas, who's a guy who's finished on the podium this year in the Dunlop Series and been a regular top 10 runner. So if you're hanging tough with a guy who's been around for a while, you're starting to make some inroads, but it's been a really frustrating first 5 rounds for Casey Stoner, and he seems to be jinxed. Race 1, every weekend, there's always some form of drama.
Yeah, well, it was a big drama yesterday, that's for sure. The Red Bull Commodore had a fair bit of rearranging done to the front of it, and certainly nothing to do with him. He was the innocent bystander as Jack Perkins continues to lead. Wood certainly is not going to give up one single bit. The gap has remained within that half a second since the beginning of the race. Jack Perkins was able just to skip ahead at the start, get the little bit extra drive that he needed to beat Wood to turn 1, and it's unlikely that either of these guys will make a mistake. Jack knows how to win these races. He's incredibly confident at the moment, doing a lot of driving. He's also, more importantly, my co-driver for the New Zealand Super Tour Championship. Not so much important to be Scott McLaughlin's co-driver, more importantly mine.
Oh, it's all about you. It's all about you, isn't it? They did a very good job for you last year, though, over in Kiwiland, didn't he?
Absolutely. You know, young Nick Cassidy and Jack Perkins backed up and won the first Enduro over there. So no question about the ability. And, you know, as I say, winning in these races, the confidence this gives to these guys is just phenomenal.
And just a quick pop quiz. Who leads the Super Tour Series in New Zealand at the moment?
Oh, an old bloke.
An old bloke. Sitting next to me, is he not?
An old bloke.
No, he still goes okay. Don't you worry about that. Jack Perkins out in front. Dale Wood, P2. And Dale doesn't need to do anything here. He looks comfortable in terms of Andrew Jones in third spot. He's got him covered for pace. And only a case of 3.5 laps to go, and he can bring it home and not just win his first round, but win another round for Matthew White's team, which would be a great job. That team's moving its way up the round winners list in the Dunlop Series. Andrew Jones has been completely under the radar this weekend, but he's on target to finish third overall and jag another podium. He was up there in Townsville a couple of rounds ago. He's just the quiet achiever, Andrew, these days in the Dunlop Series. The former champion in this category back in 2004 for BJR, and we'll see him team up with Jason Bright again in the Team BOC Commodore for the next 3 events in the V8 Supercars Championship. It's hard to keep up with Andrew in this series because every weekend he's got a different livery, but they've actually kept the Wilson security colours on this weekend as they had at Queensland Raceway, so it makes him a little bit easier to spot.
No, he's done many laps here. I reckon he's probably one of those guys that might be right up there as his laps around Winton. Locally, lives up the road in Albury. And strong competitor. Racing with Jason Bright, as you said. There's Owen down the inside of Waters. Makes that one look quite easy.
Cam
Could
Waters
be a little bit of damage there to Cam's car, so you can see the front splitter.
Cam Waters
all over the place.
He's had a much better weekend, hasn't he, Murph? He's just started to show some better signs. I mean, he qualified 6th, he's had a 5th, he's had a 7th. He's picking it up, he's getting closer towards where he needs to be.
Well, the workshop's just down the road in Albury, and you guys have brought every single car you have to this weekend. Obviously, you've got all the co-drivers out in this series this weekend.
Yeah, no, exactly right. It was good to give Luke some miles. We're all heading into the Enduros, as you said, and Chris has been doing some miles, and Jonesy's going really well. So, as you said, we brought every car except for Kim Jones's. So, it's good for the whole, the whole team. We're having a better weekend now today so far, touch wood. We had a tough day yesterday, got caught out a bit in qualifying with an anti-roll bar that was moving by itself, but much better car today.
Thanks, David.
Thanks, cheers.
Of course, Chris Pither will team up with David Wall for the Pertec Enduro Cup in the Wilson Security 21 Commodore. We're on our way home here with 2 laps to complete. Jack Perkins still leads the way. Steve Owen's still putting the pressure here on Rodney Jane. Remember that Steve Owen started 27th on the grid. He's up to 10th in the Sharon Rentals Ford for Matthew White's team, but at the front, it's been a bit of an arm wrestle, Murph, and no one's really done anything too crazy or out of control. Generally, the drivers tend to, from the 2 sets of tyres that they have, they'll run their race 1 tyres in race 2 when it's a half points race, save up the best rubber for when they're back to the front of the grid for race 3. That's pretty much the way that the teams will play it.
Yeah, often, in the situation of Jeff Emery being on pole, I'm pretty sure that they ran their best tyres to make sure he had every chance of making sure, of getting that race win. So it is a little bit different depending on the results that you had and how desperate you are to probably make the most of it. As we see Rod Jane here, he just moves over slightly to give Steve Owen the room, and he goes off the road doing it. Made a bit of a mess of that one. It's cost him dearly as Pither tries to make the most of it, which he will do because Rodney Jane's tyres will be covered in dirt. They're all going to try and make the most of this. Stoner will be the next in line. Will he get past Rod Jane? I think he will under brakes, and he does. He makes it happen. Although Jane stays in there, tries his best not to lose another spot. So that was really disappointing for him. He's run right down the inside as Heimgartner takes 2 spots around the outside. So poor old Rodney, he's gone from being 10th down to about 17th or 18th position in a spate of a couple of corners.
Only a couple of corners to go for these two, Jack Perkins and Dale Wood. Going back 2009 from memory, they were teammates at Kelly Racing in the team's first year of operation. They find themselves dicing again in the Dunlop Series. Jack Perkins is on his way home to pick up another race win. He's been such a consistent performer this year since he joined Ben Eggleston's team. He's going to jag another race win, but finally for Dale Wood, he's going to break the drought. It'll be his 8th podium, and finally he'll win the round. Well done, Jack Perkins, another race win for the Commodore driver, but Dale Wood breaks through and wins his first Dunlop Series round, and even more importantly, builds the margin in the series with 2 rounds and 4 races to go at Bathurst and Sydney. Ash Walsh in 4th, he's still in the game. George Medicki 5th. Well done, Drew Russell and Nick McBride. That was a very good performance all weekend from both those guys.
Yeah, that is a great performance. And we've seen them both perform pretty good, but not finish the weekend as a whole. So that was a great result. Cam Waters, a bit of a disappointing run there to finish 11th after the off at turn 1 at the start. Aaron Russell, 23rd. Gary Jacobson, disappointing to end up in the salad at 26th position, but great result. Dale Wood, congratulations to him.
Hey, dudes, he's got a smile from ear to ear as well. Dale, congratulations. That's fantastic to get that first round win done.
Yeah, I know. Feels like it's been a long time coming, but the pace has been there. We've ticked some awesome boxes this year, and to now get the round win, I'm bloody happy. So we're just one more box to tick, and let's get to the end and take this championship. But the car's been brilliant this weekend. I'm a pretty happy man because I've got my wife and 8-week-old little boy Jackson here. So I'm going to get two great trophies to take home with me. So I'm bloody happy.
I know they want to celebrate too, Dale. We'll let you get up there on the podium and enjoy it. Well done.
Thanks very much.
Life's good for Dale Wood. He's got a round win, a baby boy, and a series lead. Here's how the weekend looked. Perkins and Jones rounding out the podium. Drew Russell, best round result for the Newcastle driver in position 5. Nick McBride, a stunning job for Tony D'Alberto's team in 8th. Cam Waters and Jeff Emery rounded out the top 10, but all 3 drivers on the podium we will see in action in the Pertec Enduro Cup in the V8 Supercars Championship, of course, the Wilson Security Sandown 500, the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000 and the Armour All Gold Coast 600. Here's how the points sit with 5 rounds down, 2 to go. Dale Wood, 162 clear of Ash Walsh, but there are still 600 points on the table. This title is a long, long way from done, but that man, Dale Wood, is in the box seat for 2013. The next round is at the Mountain, 2 race formats supporting the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000, October 10 to 13. Thanks for your company today. We'll see you next time for more Dunlop Series action at Mount Panorama.